Happy Monday, Flosstube. Hello, crafty friends. My name's Caroline. Welcome back, Daily Crafty Chat. Today is Monday, February the 8th, and I'm back after an unexpected week off due to some glitchy technology. It's a very long story, so I'm going to really give you a shortened version, and the end result of that story is a new to me laptop, and very the latest version of iMovie has now been installed, and that's what I am working through learning how to use. I am one of my biggest faults is that I am very impatient when things don't work the way that I know how they work. If things change, I'm not good with change, especially with, you know, when I'm used to doing things a certain way and it changes and I don't understand it immediately, then I get very impatient, I get very frustrated. It's not it's not a personality trait that I'm particularly proud of, so it's probably good that I wasn't recording videos last week. However, I think I'm starting to get a handle on things. Things are going a lot better, so let's hope, fingers crossed, that that I can get this video up with little problems today. It is definitely user error. Now, everything that should be working is working properly, and it's me figuring out how to do everything the way that I wanted to do it. Okay, enough of that. So I am back, and it's so nice to be back. I did get a few things finished. I have a couple of finishes to share with you today, so I'm really excited about that. And yeah, as you can tell, I'm sitting on the other side of the room today. I am in the process of going through all of my stuff for moving the business, and so my room is, and I'm also trying to work at the same time, so it's, you know, when I can fit in pockets of time of going through bins and going through stacks of stuff. What am I going to take? Pretty much I have to take pretty much everything, but what sort of things, you know what I mean, when you're making a move and you're trying to make decisions on stuff. So these cubbies here are where things are currently in a state of flux that I'm trying to make decisions on, that kind of stuff. Got my fabric, one of my fabric stacks up there. Those are some smaller cuts that I've got there, and then I've got some DMC boxes that I use to hold all of the little small miscellaneous flotsam and jetsam that we all accumulate as crafters. So yeah, it's kind of nice to be in a bit of a different spot. This is the cubby that the shelving unit that I used to sit in front of downstairs when I would record videos down there. So finishes. Before I get to my finishes, let's do the Because Monday giveaway. So I didn't do a video last Monday, but I still put up a giveaway. So I'm actually going to leave this giveaway open for one more week. So I'm going to have two giveaways today. I did put this giveaway up last week, so you can already find this one over on the Facebook group, Friday Off the Grid. But I'm going to leave it open for one more week because I didn't show it in the video last week. So this was last week's chart. This is an Ursula Green from the Imaginating series. Do I have that right? Yeah, imaginating.com. And this is Let's Go Green. And of course, as you can see, all of the words and backstitch that make up this really sweet design all are related to reduce, reuse, recycle, going green. It's a sweet chart. There's a ladybug on it. Did you see? I thought it was a button. I didn't look that carefully at that. I just assumed it was a button. I've looked at this pattern like 6 times in the last week, and I still didn't focus in enough to see that that's a ladybug. It is a ladybug. Okay, so one more week for this chart. And new one up for today, if you have anyone, yourself or someone in your family or a friend who is perhaps getting married soon or has gotten married recently and you would like to stitch them a little sweet wedding gift. This is one of the Lizzie Kate snippets and it's called Just Married. It's really sweet. Simple, to the point, very sweet. Just a few colors. You could easily use colors from your stash. Pick some threads that you love, maybe maybe the bride and groom's favorite color, or the groom and the groom, or the bride and the bride. Choose their favorite colors and you can make it fit them. This one does not have a charm. There's no charm on the chart. There's no charm in the pattern. So it's as is. Not as is. That's how it comes. There's no chart. Hello. Oh, hi. Okay, so I've got a couple of finishes to share with you today. Let me just move this a little bit. Sarah was fiddling with my camera last weekend. She was she was experimenting with using it and doing a few things, and she's changed some of the settings in it. So along with figuring out things on my laptop with the editing software, I'm also trying to figure out some settings that she's changed in the camera. So hopefully when I go to play this video back and edit it and fix it, everything isn't backwards. So we'll see. Okay, I have two finishes to share with you. So the first one is that I finished my sock. I finished my first of the Timber Yarns 12 Days of Christmas sock. I love this sock. I think this has got to be one of my favorites that I've ever knit. I love them all, but you know, I can't wait to wear these. I think you could wear these year round. They're so cute. So this is, Timber Yarns is a local to me yarn dyer here in Ontario, Canada. And Heather, the dyer, specializes in self-striping sock yarn. We had a great conversation at the dinner table the other night about self-striping sock yarn because both John and my father-in-law were really interested in watching the stripes grow. They couldn't quite believe that I wasn't, you know, having to use 12 different colors of yarn, that it was all, you know, coming off the ball and I was just knitting it. And so they thought that was really cool and it was kind of a fun conversation. So this was Timber Yarns Christmas sock set this past year for 2020. And it was called the 12 Days of Christmas. And it came with two 20 gram minis. There was a brown called Cake Boss, and then there was this red that I chose to use as the heel and the toe called Big Red. And so I have enough. The yarn is divided into two 50-gram hanks so that you should end up with perfectly matched socks. And I have enough of this 50 grams left that I can probably knit a shorty pair of socks as well. The sock recipe that I use is a pattern that I used to learn how to knit socks from my friend Louise Patterson, who is Wildflower Wool, and it's also her pattern that I use for the sock knitting tutorials that are here on this channel. You can find them under the playlist section on this channel where it says Learn to Knit, and there's a link to her pattern there. It's called the Super Simple Cuff Down Sock Pattern, and it's just a very basic sock, and there is a heel flap and gusset and Kitchener stitch toe there, and it's just so pretty. Look at that beautiful thing. I finished it. So hooray. So I did get back to my Fruity Pebbles sock, the one if you've been here for a while, you'll remember the Fruity Pebbles sock, but I'll wait and share those with you tomorrow because I'm really getting really close to the heel on the second sock. I'll share it tomorrow. Okay, what you've all been waiting for. I finally finished, 3 years later, 39,000 stitches, approximately, give or take. I finished Savon, and here it is. Ta-da! I really feel like there should be trumpets going. There should be some kind of fanfare for completing my Savon. It's done! It's done! I cannot tell you how thrilled I am. So as you can see, when I hold it back here, that coverage looks pretty darn good, doesn't it? Perfectly, I'm thrilled. I'm perfectly happy with the coverage. So this is a 16 count off-white Aida with 2 strands of the called for DMC colors from the pattern. The pattern is by Landmark Tapestries and Charts. It is called Savon, S-E-V-A-N, from the Tapesta Pillow collection. You can find these charts on www.celtichobbies.com. I'll leave a link in the drop down box below because we're going to talk about what comes next. So, but look, when I bring it up really super close, you can see that the coverage is, you know, not perfect, right? Especially where I'm working with the 310, the black. There is a little bit of show through there, but it's really easy on 2 strands of coverage on 16 count Aida. It's not hard on the hands, so there's not a lot of extra stress pulling a lot of floss through the fabric. And once it's framed and behind glass and on the wall, it looks great. You really don't notice that there's a tiny bit of peekaboo with the fabric. So, ta-da! Savon, it's finished. I can't tell you, I'm so thrilled. So, if you don't know the story of these charts, way back when, from my original needle workshop that is now closed because the owners have retired, Thread and I purchased 10 of the 12 patterns in the collection. And of the 12 charts, 6 of them are the same pattern, just repeated in a different colorway. And so I have already stitched 5 of these designs, and they are intended to go to my daughter. And then the next 5 will be stitched, and they will be for my son, for Nicholas. So I said on Instagram this weekend when I posted it that the first part of Nicholas's dowry is now complete. So time to get on with the rest of it. You can tell I'm pretty pleased with myself, right? I mean, come on. It's so beautiful. I love it. I love it so much. Okay. And I did post photos on Instagram and the Facebook group Friday Off the Grid. So if you want another look at it, the photos are over there. Okay, so let's talk about what's coming up next. Because I'm talking about the Landmark Tapestries and Charts, I'm going to carry on with that conversation first. So I have 4 charts left that I want to stitch, and they are as follows. And I'm going to completely butcher these names, but we'll go with it. So the first one is called Yerevan, and I know they're behind plastic, so you can just look at the design. I'm just going to say this up front. Ignore the colors that you see. Ignore them. Yerevan. Shatak. Sassoon. And last but not least, and the one that is out of its packaging, so I think you'll be able to tell which one I chose, Oz. Okay, so there's a close-up of Oz. So this is the one that I have chosen to stitch next. And The companion piece to Oz is called Kazakh. And Kazakh was the very first one of the 10 that I stitched and completed. So here is Kazakh right here. So you can see the colorway that's right there. That's the companion piece that I've already stitched. And so now it's time for Oz. Now you're looking at that and you're thinking, whoa, those colors are bright. And yes, they are. But like I said, I never ever go by the color photos on these landmark charts because they're terrible. They're never true to what you actually end up with. And I've told Clare that I will email her a photo of my completed Savon so that she can use it however she wants. I'll try to send her a picture of Kazakh as well, so that if there are any of you who would like to join in with me in my very next multi-year adventure with landmark tapestries and charts, you can join with me. So you're getting in on the ground floor for the next one of my pieces for Nicholas. So what I've done is I've done a floss pull for Oz so that you can actually see the colors that they really are. And I'll give you the numbers. There are a couple of colors that I don't have. I have them on order. I don't expect them anytime soon, and I am not planning on starting this anytime soon because I thought it might be fun if there were any of you out there who want to continue working on Savon while I work on this, or you want to start a new one because this is your first time being exposed to these patterns, that you want to start with me. And I also have a couple other larger pieces that I would like to really put substantial more progress in before I start this one, but it's definitely going to happen probably a month to 6 weeks from now. So that gives you plenty of time to get fabric and material and floss and join in should you choose. And you know, you can choose Kazakh if you prefer that colorway, or you can join me with Oz. So I'm missing 2 colors, okay? So keep that in mind. I have them in my Floss Buddy that was sent to me by my friend Michelle, and I stitched Savon using this one that Carrie had made and sent to me. Look at this, it's so sweet. She used this bust fabric, this double-decker bust. I love that. So I used this for Savon, and I'm going to be using it again to hold my bobbins for Oz, but I'm going to keep this. I'm going to actually use both of them at the same time. And then these will go inside my project bag. Okay, so these are the colors. What do you think? I know they're pretty similar to Savon, aren't they? So I had a lot of 3777, so I just stuck them all in there, knowing that I wouldn't have to purchase any more for the chart. There's the ubiquitous DMC 310. There's actually not a lot of 310 in this chart. Actually, that's a lie. That's a big lie. I'm looking at the yardage requirements and it says 53 meters. So ignore that. It's actually the #1 floss needed in the whole list is 310. So it doesn't look like it, but it actually is. Fortunately, I have a good supply of 310. So there's 310. There's a little bit of 377. There's a lot of blues. These are the shades that are going to be used. 791, 792, 793. So there's a fair bit of blue. And then there's the 2 colors that are missing. The one that is actually the main other color other than 310 is a medium copper color. And it's the one that's in between these two. So I think this is 918. Yeah, that's 918 and this is 921. The medium copper that this chart calls for is 920. So that's what I have on order, and I'm just waiting for that to come. Oh, and there's this really beautiful kind of topaz color that is 781. So 781, 920, so not quite these colors. So you can ignore those ones now. And the rest of what you see, plus a green. There is a green, it is 3346, DMC 3346. It's described as a hunter green. There's not very much in the whole design. You can see a couple of the X's. A couple of the X's in the border are going to use that. And that hunter green, and that's it. So very exciting. So those are my next plans for landmark tapestries and charts. I have emailed Clare this morning, Clare Crawford, who is the owner of CelticHobbies.com, and I've mentioned the name of the charts that I would like to start next. Clare is just, I'm not advertising for Clare. She doesn't pay me to advertise for her. It's just that she is, first of all, I like her a whole lot. Her customer service is great. And she is pretty much the only place you can find these charts. She imports them from the distributor in the UK. So, I finished it. I know, can you believe it? I still can't quite believe it. Okay, now, next, plans. I know 2021 was going to be the year of no plans, and it still really is. Because I was not planning on doing any high teas this year. Now, what's high tea? High tea was something that I started a couple of years back, where originally it was once a month. I wanted to have a special new start, something from my stash that I'd been saving for good, that I just decided, okay, it's time to pull it out and enjoy it and love it and use it. And so I had 12 new starts the first year. The second year, I decided to just do it quarterly. So I had 4 new starts, but they were fairly substantial new starts, except for one of them, which was small. And that was last year. And then this year, I thought I had a couple of new starts on the agenda that I really wanted to do, but I really wanted to not have any sort of set plans. And just kind of go with the flow this year, focusing on maybe finishing up a couple of larger long-term projects like Savon and a few other things like that. So I had 2 new starts planned for the beginning of the year. One of them was my Historisches Stickmuster piece, which is the Virlanda HKVH sampler. And I did start that on New Year's Day, and I am in love with it. I'm going to share more about my progress on that tomorrow. And also I have the next installment video from Dorothee. I should have that up later this week. Thoroughly enjoyable videos. If you haven't watched them yet, I highly recommend checking them out. Her face is on the screen cap. They're very short and they're just full of beautiful information about these treasures that are in our stitching past. And now, side note about the sampler that Dorothee is holding in the screen cap of the last video, and I'm going to put links to those videos in the drop down box below on this video. She's holding a sampler. That sampler that she's holding is a reproduction sampler that she has charted, and it is available for free in the Silk Stitching app. So if you have an iOS device, you can download the Silk Stitching app, and that sampler reproduction is available. I think it's called Ancient Lands, and it is one of the free PDF. It's sorry, they are now. You can print them out. You have the ability to print from the app. It's not a PDF though. It's a pattern, and it's within the app, and the app is great. You can use it to highlight, you can figure out how much percentage you're done. It's really a wonderful app, and the pattern is free, and it's a beautiful reproduction sampler. So just a little side note, if you haven't already downloaded the Silk Stitching app, that's a little treasure there that you can find. So the other one that I was hoping to start, like so many of you as well, was the Jacob Modern Folk Embroideries 2021 Stitch Along, the Fruits of Plenty. That piece is so beautiful, so so beautiful. And I was waiting until I had already chosen, I knew what fabric I wanted to use, but I ordered it. I had Jukas from XJU Designs custom dye some linen for me because I had a piece of 28 count that I just loved, but I didn't want to do it 1/1, even though I know Yamir from Almond M&Ms. And side note about Yamir, she is now dyeing and selling silk floss. So if you haven't checked out her channel, if you haven't checked out her Instagram, it is super exciting new news coming out from Yamir. Yamir is the stitcher who, she does everything teeny tiny, and they're absolutely jaw-droppingly stunning. Her work is amazing. And she recently did a video with Jacob, Modern Folk Embroidery, discussing a forever piece. And I'll leave it at that because the video is excellent and you should go and watch it because just their conversation is fascinating. And I said this, I can't remember where I said it. I think it was on Facebook or maybe it was on Instagram. I don't remember, but so excuse me if I'm repeating myself, but Jacob had said it within the interview. He said, you know, I've always dreamed about designing a piece like this, like a forever piece that's so massive that you don't, you know, you'll be working on it for the rest of your life. But he said, haha, you know, no one would ever buy that. I just said, I would. Sign me up. Where is it? When can I buy it? So it doesn't matter. Even if I never stitch it, you know, I mean, that it's like buying art, isn't it? It really is. It's like having an art collection. So even if I never stitch half of the charts that are in my stash, I consider them a win because I've supported the designer. I just, they're like my little treasures. I love them. Okay, so getting back to the Fruits of Plenty, I ordered a piece, right, 28 count. I didn't want to do 1/1, even though Yamir said you totally should. And I know I could because I've done 1/1 on 28 count and I've done it on 32 count before as well. I know I can do it. But I wanted this piece to be a little bit bigger than that because I know sort of where I want to put it. But I didn't want it to be 2/2 on 28 count because I don't always love the coverage of 2/2 on 28 count. It depends on the fabric. Probably with Jukas's fabric I would have been okay. However, I really wanted to do it on a 40 count. Long story long. So I had Jukas dye me a piece, a custom piece. This is a 1/2 yard. So I would have plenty of fabric to do both the Fruits of Plenty as well as something else. And here it is. Pretty. It is so pretty. It's so pretty. I love it, love it, love it. I just love this so much. And are you ready to see which floss I chose? I chose Leo and Roxy, Polar Ice, and Hay Sailor. And so those are going to be my colors for Jacob's beautiful design. I think you can see the colors okay. I know, it's January light. What can I do? I love it. I love it so much. This fabric is like a well-loved denim jacket or favorite pair of pants. I love it so much. I can't. Oh, I can't. Okay, so I've decided, because I had a couple of viewers message and say, when's high tea? When are we doing high tea? And I thought, well, I wasn't going to do high tea, but now I kind of want to do high tea. So no plans, let's make a little plan. So I thought March 1st, why don't we do a high tea? And I'm going to start. I know I had said I was started on January 1st, but I wanted to enjoy my silk stitching sampler. So instead, I'm going to save this for March 1st, and this is going to be my special high tea start. Because technically the floss was in my stash. And it's special floss because, well, I'm selling it now. So now I want to stitch everything with Leo and Roxy Floss. So March 1st. So if you'd like to join me with a high tea new start, choose something special from your stash that's been hanging around that you want to start, and join me. It'll be fun. Okay, believe it or not, I have come to the end of everything that I wanted to share with you today. Oh no, I'm a big liar. Oh, once again, I'm a big liar. Okay. This is actually a special thing. So, Ms.Pattie, if you are watching at the moment, now's the time that I'm going to ask you to say goodbye and stop watching the video. Because Ms.Pattie, I am making something for you, and I don't want you to spoil it. So we'll give Ms.Pattie a moment to turn it off. Now, if you don't know who Ms.Pattie is, 3 years in a row at Christmas time, I went and did a tour of Ms.Pattie's house, and she was gracious enough to allow us into her home, and she would share her Christmas stitching and decorating with me and with you. And she is like a warm hug personified. She's one of my most favorite people in the whole wide world. And so Ms.Pattie, hopefully you're gone by now. This is your last chance to say goodbye, and then I can share with everyone else what I'm going to be making for you. She is the maker of the gigantic mitten pillow that you see behind me when I'm on the other side of the room. So Ms.Pattie, if you don't know, she has something called essential tremors, and so she has found so many workarounds for her crafting over the last number of years as the tremors progress. You know, she's found ways to make her stitching work for her so that she can carry on and continue doing the things that she loves. And so making these gigantic pillows, it gives her something to hang on to while she's doing the stitching. And also counted canvas. She works on canvas designs where she's got the frame on the fabric, and it gives her something to hold on to while she's stitching. So she wanted to try knitting a few years back now, and it didn't go so well. And because I was sort of at fault for putting the, you know, desire there for knitting, when she decided that it wasn't going to work for her, she dropped off a bag of stuff at my house, things that she had purchased for her knitting goals that just weren't going to, it's just not going to work for her. And 3 of the things that were in the bag was this absolutely jaw-droppingly gorgeous yarn. So let me show you. I've got 2 of the skeins are still as they come. Okay. Now again, it's terrible. There we go. Can you see that? Look at the sort of corally pink, and then there's a gray in there. Look at that. And isn't that the most amazing yarn you've ever seen in your life? It's kind of thick and thin. It's like art yarn. And it is just, I wish you could see it in real life because it is absolutely gorgeous. This yarn is so beautiful. So there were 3 skeins of this yarn, and let me tell you a little bit more about the yarn because it is really a special yarn. It's called Serpentina, and it's by Manos del Uruguay, and it is hand-dyed and hand-spun merino wool. And I tell you, this stuff is 100% wool. I don't like scratchy wool. This is wool that you can wear against your face, wear against your neck. It's delicious. It is just soft like butter. It's so soft. So this yarn, this is a special yarn. This is not an inexpensive yarn. You are paying for the story and also the quality. Let me tell you the story behind this yarn. So I'm gonna have to take my glasses off to see this, so excuse me for a moment. Okay. So, Manos del Uruguay, the Hands of Uruguay, is a non-profit organization which assembles women in cooperatives scattered throughout the countrysides of Uruguay. The aim of the organization is to bring economic and social opportunities to rural women. We are proud members of the World Fair Trade Organization. All skeins are unique. We recommend buying enough yarn to complete a project. If there is great difference between skeins, knit 2 rows from one skein, 2 from another to give an overall blended effect. Okay, so there is 142 yards per skein. This one is called Marie. That's the name of this colorway. All of these colorways in the Serpentina have a special woman's name. They're really quite neat. You can actually, so you can find Serpentina at Ms.Pattie purchased this at Knit Stitch a number of years back, and I do know that now you can also find it at the Little Red Mitten in St. Thomas, Ontario. So this, it also gives you the location where it was dyed and spun and the name of the artisan. Can you see that? Let me put, oh, I need to, I'm squinting at the camera. Let's put my glasses back on. There we go. How cool is that? You've actually got the name of the woman and where she dyed it and spun it, hand spun it. So this was done by Faye. I think it says Faye. Faye or Day is the name of the artisan. And you are literally buying a little bit of art that you then get to knit with. It's so cool. So there were 3, remember I told you there were 3 skeins? So here's the 3rd skein, and Ms.Pattie had balled this up. So I'm knitting from the one that she had started. Oh, my memory card's full. Just let me clear and make it a little bit. Okay, back again. Right, so this was the skein that Ms.Pattie had balled up there. And I am making her a cowl. And I can tell you this, I do not want to put it down. It is so fun to knit. The yarn is so beautiful. I'm just absolutely in love with it. So this was a Super Bowl new start last night. And here's how far I've knit. I am doing a, it's a broken rib pattern. So it's just very simple. If anybody wants kind of a recipe for it, I can leave it in the drop down box below. It's just basically a rib stitch that's broken up. It's 2 rows of rib broken up with 2 rows of knit. And that's it. So it just makes this nice little sort of almost a bobble effect. Love it. It's so pretty. So this cowl is going to be long enough that if Ms.Pattie wants, she should be able to loop it around her neck twice. So I love it. I have a stitch marker from my friend Carrie in Australia. She is the creative curator. She makes chainmail, progress keepers, and zipper pulls. And I have to say they are my favorite. I love these progress keepers. They're just so beautiful. I'm not sure if she has anything in her shop at the moment, but if you're in Australia, if you're anywhere in the world, frankly, she has shipped them to me here in Canada. So, at the moment with shipping being the way it is, I'm not sure what her, I should check in with Carrie because I think I should order some more of these for myself. They're just so beautiful. And so that's what I'm working on for Ms.Pattie. I mean, and I did that since last night. So it's lovely, lovely yarn. It's knitting up super fast, and I hope to zip through that fairly quickly. I am still, of course, working on my Caroline shawl and a couple other pairs of socks as well. Okay, so that's it for me today. I did put those, I'm not gonna show them today, but for shop update, the raccoon bags are in the shop. There are a few other bags in the shop as well. The raccoon bags come with the needle minder, the raccoon needle minder from Allison of It's Charm School. All the photos are on the shop. It's www.evertote.com. I'll share the bags. I'll show the bags on film later this week if there are some left to share. And if you are a fan of purple colorway, you're going to want to look up right now, because I'm going to give you a sneak peek of some floss that I'm going to be having coming in the next couple of weeks. Carrie's been busy in the dye pots. I know, she's supposed to be recovering from heart surgery, that girl, but I don't think she could help herself. And so we are the lucky recipients of her hard work. So I'm gonna pop in a photo right here, just a little sneak peek of what's coming up in the next couple weeks, right here. How beautiful is that? I'm pretty excited. So I am actually driving tomorrow to pick up the first lot of purples. So I'll share more once I have them in my hot little hands. And that's it. That's it for me today. I have a feeling this is a long video. So cross your fingers, cross your toes for me that that this goes smoothly, getting everything into iMovie. You may notice a few things are different. Maybe the music might be different, or the screen caps and the lettering and all that kind of stuff yet. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. So might be a bit of a bumpy ride over the next week, but hopefully we'll get things sorted out. I hope that you'll come back and join me tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing part 2 of funny crafting stories. It's not too late. If you'd still like to enter the little contest that I'm having, please email me a funny crafting story of your very own, Caroline@evertote.com, and I will be sharing those stories for the next week or so. So tomorrow will be part 2. And with that, I will say goodbye, and I'll see you tomorrow. I hope you're well, I hope you're safe, and that tonight you have a few moments just for yourself to do some crafting, something crafty and fun. And I'm going back to my sewing now. So I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Happy stitching.